All right, let's try this. Let's try this again. Welcome to the Locker Room, number one source for Texans daily digital content. I'm Landry Locker. You can hear me Monday through Friday, 10 to 2 on Sports Radio 610 and the Odyssey app. Appreciate everyone for coming through. If it's the first time, if it's the second time, if you're a Texans fan or not, I appreciate you for rolling through. Don't know what the hell was going on there. Let's just hit the intro and get into this this post game show, a victory post game show.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the Locker Room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, Locker Room. Yeah, we in the Locker Room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source. We the pulse of the city too. Landlocked. Got the game in the headlock. Localize every time. Can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, top two and we not two.
All right, so we got a W to talk about. Texans get a win. DeMeco Ryans debut. One major takeaway that I want to just start off right off the top. We'll get into CJ Stroud. We'll get into Mills. We'll get into everything else that was going on there. But I honestly think that the biggest takeaway here was that CJ Stroud looked the part. CJ Stroud looked the part of a quarterback. See, or Tank Dell looked the part of a quarterback. We're having technical difficulties. Tank Dell absolutely looked the part of a big time receiver, and I've got to say, can y'all hear me right now? That's really the real question. Can y'all hear me right now? That is the actual question on this. I guess it's preseason for me. Okay, so y'all can hear me. Okay. Are y'all talking about the Deculus thing? Not sure. Okay, cool. So we're into this. The biggest takeaway for me in this preseason game is that Tank Dell looked the part. Tank Dell, biggest story, the rookies. You saw Toto do his thing. You saw Will Anderson get a pressure that led to a sack. You saw CJ Stroud kind of struggle. But Tank Dell, the most significant thing here is Tank Dell looks like a guy who can, I don't want to lay out numbers, but he looks like a 70 catch guy. He looks like around a 70 catch guy. He looks explosive. He looks dynamic. Quite frankly, Davis Mills missed he missed him a couple of times. Tank Dell could have had 100 yards today. He just ended up with 65. He could have had 100 yards. And the other thing that I really liked from Tank Dell was when Davis Mills missed him, you saw Tank Dell look at him and say, get the ball up. Get the ball up. When you see a rookie have that much of confidence and wherewithal to let a veteran know, hey, you got to get me the rock, it's beyond impressive. That's beyond impressive. And Tank Dell today was undoubtedly the story of the game. Absolutely no doubt about that. Tank Dell was the story of the game. Let's get into CJ Stroud. And I apologize for any technical issues. Don't know what's going on. We got a handyman downstairs. I don't know if maybe that they're doing something. They're trying to install some stuff. So I don't know if that's what's screwing stuff up, but I apologize for that. I thought the first two drives of the game were the tales of two rookies. You saw CJ Stroud's immediate struggles, and then you got a look at Will Anderson right off the top. Will Anderson forces Zappe to go inside. Texans hold the Patriots to 3. I thought the defense looked fundamentally sound. They seemed to recognize screens. They also tackled well, recognizing screens, stopping the run. That's what they've done in practice. I thought they did a good job there. You saw the number 3 pick look the part, and you saw the quarterback kind of struggle on his first drive. CJ Stroud. Stroud let's go to Stroud now. Stroud ends up 2 of 4, 13 yards, an interception, and just 6 yards rushing. CJ Stroud is he's going to struggle a little bit. It was nice. I know some people were complaining, saying, I want to get his ass out of the game, especially behind that offensive line. But I like seeing CJ Stroud get hit a little bit. Now, do I want to make that a habit? Do you kind of gasp whenever you see it? Yeah, but I want to see CJ Stroud get hit. I have no problem seeing CJ Stroud take a couple of hits. And I also like seeing, because in training camp, you can't tell whether he's going to get sacked or not, or if he's actually feeling the pressure. A lot of times you just say, oh, that would have been a sack. There were a couple times where Stroud felt the pressure, and he did a decent job of getting outside and avoiding the pressure. Where he spun off, used his legs to make a positive play. You saw him spin off and complete a pass. I think that's good stuff to see from CJ Stroud, getting outside and feeling the pressure and getting away. The O-line, that's your backup offensive line. Fant was at left tackle. You didn't have Laramie Tunsil out there. You didn't have Shaq Mason. Titus Howard's out. I don't know that Deculus needs to be on the field anymore. Quite frankly, Deculus kind of stresses me out a little bit. You might need to figure out what these other guys got, because Deculus, quite frankly, was pretty bad. But the struggles that you saw from CJ taking a couple of hits, I think that was good stuff right there. For him to take a couple of licks, need to take some licks. Probably didn't get hit too much at Ohio State. But the biggest knock on CJ, one of the knocks on CJ was he doesn't use his legs enough. I thought he did a really good job of using his legs. I thought CJ did an excellent job, quite frankly, of using his legs. But yeah, Deculus is bad. Dieter sucked. He didn't even play an offensive snap last year. So I don't expect that much for him. And as far as playing CJ or not, yeah, you got to play him. There's a chance he might have to play behind some of these guys in actual games. He needs experience very much. I anticipate these joint practices with the Miami Dolphins. Those are going to be very beneficial to him. But yeah, he needs it. CJ Stroud needs the reps. He needs to get out there. Scruggs was okay. He wasn't great. Kind of whiffed on the one play that nearly got the QB killed. But hey, you played in the rain. You had CJ Stroud out there against with a backup offensive line. I thought it was good to see CJ Stroud get hit a little bit. Andy Kalu on the broadcast, God, man, it was even better than I thought it was going to be. It was such an easy listen. It's the first time that I've watched a preseason game and I haven't had people blowing up my phone, bitching about what's going on. It was really, really good to hear Indy. I thought he did an excellent job. You can tell that he actually follows the league. You can tell he actually follows the team. The knowledge was relevant. The delivery was great. I really enjoyed hearing Indy on the broadcast. I thought that was one of the good things. The backup running back situation was something that we kind of talked about. I thought that Singletary, and I was glad they didn't play Pierce, because I don't think Pierce knows how to play without just going absolutely crazy. I don't think we. I don't even think I need to see Dameon Pierce at all. Maybe a series, maybe two. Let him go out there, but I damn sure don't need to see him for a whole half, unless they're going to work on like some passing or something like that. The backup running back situation seems pretty decent at this point. It looks like it might go according to chalk. Singletary had a really nice run on the 3rd and 1 where he made the defender miss and he moved the chains. I know around here we probably thought it was illegal to make someone miss a tackle as a backup running back, but apparently you're allowed to do that. And he did that. Boone is definitely the 3rd best running back. I don't even think it's close at this point. Boone was out there. He moved the chains a couple of times, caught the pass. They brought him in. It's kind of obvious that Boone is your third. And then Dare, I don't know if Dare, I don't even know if he makes the team, quite honestly, at this point. It's kind of sad that we were at such a low point when it came to running backs last year that we were hoping that Dare would get more carries. There was like a free Dare movement. And I'm not mocking it because I think it was appropriate. That's how bad the Rex Burkhead thing was. But there was a time where we were saying, oh, yeah, 33 needs to get more carries. I don't know if you can, I know he contributes on special teams, so that probably has a little bit of value. But dropping a ball in your chest and then failing to fall on it, trying to pick it up instead of just falling on it, I mean, that's a good thing. That's a good way to get you cut, especially when you're by far, maybe not even, but barely the fourth best running back on the team. I could see Dare ending up getting cut there, but the top three running backs appear to be set. I think you got obviously Pierce, Singletary, and then you got Boone. I think that's pretty blatantly obvious. Roy Lopez and Kurt Hinish. You know, we've kind of talked about, are these guys fighting to make the squad? I thought Roy Lopez was safe. I thought maybe Hinish was on the outside looking in. Hinish just plays good in the preseason. He's just around the rock. He had the sack where, you know, he gets the credit for the sack, but the quarterback had to step up and kind of ran into him. And then you had the Roy Lopez make a play after that where he flushed Zappe out. Zappe had to throw it out. The D-line battles, like in the interior, those are going to be interesting. I think Lopez is good. I don't know about Hinish. The defense does seem to, I mean, they seem to know what the hell they're doing. They recognize screens, they tackle. I think the defense could be really, really good. Although I did find it kind of interesting. What was Jalen Petrie doing on that one toss? Like he jumped like he was trying to catch the ball and the ball wasn't there. Like was there water in his eyes or something? Like was it raining? Was he just not trying to really lay the wood in preseason? Was he scared to hit the guy? Was he scared to play the ball? I don't know what the hell that was. It almost looked like back in the day when you'd play with one of those like janky ass PlayStation controllers and you'd get jammed up and your guy's just running sideways. I don't know what in the hell Petrie was doing there. I had no idea what the hell that was. I thought that was strange. We asked this question. Another takeaway, Bobby Slowik. So he's going to be a sideline play caller. And we saw B.O.B. too. I think the broadcast only showed him a couple of times. But Bobby Slowik, it looks like, is going to be a sideline play caller. So you have Bobby on the side. He's going to be a sideline guy. Got a little taste of what Bobby's doing. Not too much. There were a couple of interesting play calls. The 4th and 1 rollout I thought was nice. But Bobby Slow is going to be a sideline guy. If we were curious about that. Player of the game, obviously, Tank Dell. Tank Dell is the truth. I mean, at this point, I almost think you have to consider taking Tank Dell in fantasy leagues. I don't know what round, 9, 10, I'm not sure, but look, when they drafted Tank Dell, I was a Mims guy. I wanted Mims. I wanted Marvin Mims out of OU. And Tank Dell fell in the draft for whatever reason. I think it was just a perfect blend of stereotypes that allow a guy to drop in the draft because it damn sure wasn't the production. He had the best production or top 3 best production for a wide receiver the last 2 years in all of college football. And damn sure wasn't anything that he actually did on the field. I think he dropped because he's small He comes from an air raid offense, and he went to U of H. And it looks like I didn't know what Tank. I'd watched Tank Dell play, obviously, since he went to U of H, but I was shocked to see Tank Dell and the way that he's looked in camp. He's been absolutely the best wide receiver in camp. He separated himself there. And if I didn't know he was 5'8", just by watching him, I wouldn't think he was 5'8". He damn sure doesn't play 5'8". So I've been extremely impressed with Tank, and I think it's to the point where you're probably going to have to draft him in your fantasy leagues. I see Michael saying he reminds him of Will Fuller. No. No, they're not alike at all. Will Fuller was more of a one-trick pony. He was more of a one-trick pony type of guy. Deep threat, intermediate game improved a little bit, but Tank Dell is like an intermediate route running type of specialist. You even look at the Stroud interception. Tank Dell had that cornerback on skates. So I would I don't like the Will Fuller comparison at all. I don't even know that he's like a huge deep threat. I don't even mean that disrespectfully. I just think that when we talked about Tank, we automatically assumed, oh well, this guy's going to be like the deep threat slot. Nah, he's all over the place. You guys saw it today, and that's what we were seeing at camp. So if you follow the channel, you probably had a pretty decent idea of what to see. The worst of the first half. If we're continuing to talk about the first half of this game, I think the worst of the first half was the offensive line and Andrew Beck. The offensive line, it's a backup offensive line. I get it, but you still got to be better than that. I don't know. You might as well just have CJ Stroud go into a Crip neighborhood wearing all red if you're going to have him play behind Austin Deculus again. I mean, you honestly, you might as well do that, because that was bad. That was bad. The backup offensive line was rough. And Andrew Beck, the only reason I mentioned Andrew Beck, and he ended up getting hurt on the first kickoff of the second half. The only reason that I bring up Andrew Beck is because on that 3rd and 1 drop, those are the type of plays that are going to keep you on the squad, sir. He isn't dropping those in camp, but those are the types of plays. First of all, like, some stuff in the preseason does not translate to the game. So you're not, like, sometimes you're going against like different strings. You're not going against, the quality of player, et cetera. But those are the types of plays that in a real game, you drop a 3rd and 1 like that, can end up costing you the game. Because then you go for it on 4th, you get stuffed, and then next thing you know, the other team's scoring 7. Or you have to punt and you give up a possession. That's the type of stuff that can't happen with Beck if he wants to contribute. No word yet on how hurt he was. He was walking around on the sidelines. So I anticipate that he'll probably be all right, but he might be a little bit sore. The tackling and the screen recognition I thought was excellent. I think the coachable stuff, it was from beginning to end. And those are just little things that you can tell how good a team is coached, how good they practice. They sniffed out multiple screens, multiple types, whether it was wide receiver screens, whether it was traditional screens. They sniffed those out. Tackling was solid. They seemed to play with the emotion that DeMeco Ryans wants them to play with. You also had DeMeco on the sidelines. This is going to be interesting to watch. Pretty animated type of coach. We're not used to like a lot of animation on the sidelines. We're used to Bill O'Brien kind of just looking pissed, and then Lovie Smith just sitting there like this, and then David Culley just smacking that damn gum. on the sidelines. DeMeco Ryans clearly, very, very animated. But the other thing here, Davis Mills looked good, 9 of 12 for 99 yards. And quite frankly, he missed Tank Dell a couple of times. He probably could have been 11 for 12 for maybe 140, because the one that he missed to Tank Dell on the slant that he kind of threw behind him, Tank had a lot of room to run there. I mean, that's probably like a 20-yard gain at least. And then the one on the side, it looked like he could have gone a long way. He got behind the guy. Mills kind of threw it outside a little bit. Could have had something there. But yeah, Davis looks good. Davis looks good as a backup quarterback. I don't put a lot of stock in what CJ looked like. I don't look. I've told y'all that this is not a quarterback competition. It's a fake quarterback competition. I am not like the biggest believer that CJ Stroud is going to be like the number one franchise quarterback. Like I think he can be good. I think you can win with him. I think he has a good ceiling. I don't think he's like going to be terrible, but there's going to be struggles. And I don't put a lot of stock in what's going on right now because it's not a competition. It's not a competition. He's competing with himself. And you heard John Harris say on the sidelines, and I was actually texting with John. The thing about CJ is that when he's done bad or when he's had his low points, he's kind of responded. And we'll see how CJ responds. He's going to have joint practice with the Dolphins. I think this is going to be the best joint practice because Mike McDaniel and DeMeco Ryans, they know each other. So we'll probably get some good looks. I'm sure DeMeco and Slowik, and they're going to tell McDaniel what they want. McDaniel's going to tell them, and there's going to be really, really good looks with really, really good players. Probably more looks than you maybe even get in a preseason game. So we'll see what happens with CJ. I don't have like a big ass overreaction on CJ. I keep hearing this Tyreek Hill comparison with Tank Dell. They're not alike. They're not alike. Like they don't even like remotely play alike. Tyreek is one of one. If I were comparing Tank Dell to someone, I would say Tank Dell is like I think he's like a poor man's Cooper Kupp with a little bit more speed, but he lines up everywhere. I know Cooper's mainly in the slot, but he's always open. He runs good routes. He doesn't mind going down. He doesn't mind going down and getting the ball. I think that I think he's like a poor man's type of like receiver. I don't think he's Deshaun Jackson either. I'm seeing that. He's not. I don't think he's like and it's good. Like I don't think he's like a real home run threat. I think he can be, but I think he's a complete route runner. But that's just that. Other rookies, Will Anderson, he looks the part. Will Anderson, if he plays the whole game, I think that Will Anderson is going to make plays. Henry To'oTo'o, he made a couple plays. I think Christian Kirksey's done. I don't think Christian Kirksey plays for the Texans again. I think he's done. Whatever you say, $5 million, that's a wrap. He's done. He's cooked. And then obviously we've already talked about Dell, but the rookies look good. Like this looks like a potentially really, really good rookie class, which is a good thing because when you use this a number 2 and number 3 pick, you would hope it's good. CJ looked the worst of the rookies. And then we'll just see how he responds. But it's going to be better or worse with CJ Stroud because this is not a competition. Shaq Griffin, he got in on that 4th and 1. I thought that was a really, really well called run blitz by DeMeco. You had Eric Murray coming off the side. By the way, how funny is it? Eric Murray's basically playing in the fourth quarter, and Bill O'Brien sitting there looking at a guy that he paid like a really, really good safety. Got to see Mechie. Mechie's technically not a rookie, but it's his first time. Had that little screen, that chain mover. Hutchinson too. I didn't mean to leave out Hutchinson. I was very pleased with Hutchinson. Caught that ball and went down to the 5. And then they threw the fade to him on number 2. And like in games, sometimes, people are anti-fade because fades are kind of like they're low reward type of plays. But I think in this situation where you have a guy on the field that you feel like, might play some significant snaps, I like tossing it up to him and seeing what he can do. Indy actually said he wanted to see him go right back to that play because he kind of slipped up. They didn't do that, but I thought it was good to see Hutch do his thing. He just got kind of tripped up, and Case tossed it up. I said this on the show. I bet the $110 on the game to win 100 because Texans minus 3.5. I'm not one of those people who typically likes to bet on, the Texans or anything like that. But in preseason, if Case Keenum's going to be playing the third and fourth quarter, a guy who's a quality backup maybe in the NFL, probably for more teams than not, that's having a good time, that's living his best life, and there's pretty decent like wide receivers out there with him. I think Bachman led the NFL in receptions last year in the preseason, and then you got Steven Sims. I think if the Texans are like within 5-6 points of the spread in the preseason, I think it's a good way to make money in the preseason. And some people will say, "Oh, you're such a degenerate for betting on preseason." Brother, it pays all the same. I mean, it pays all the same. And if there's like a logical sense to it, I know a lot of listeners, shout out to the loopholes. If you listen, you are one. I know a lot of listeners piggybacked on it. If Case Keenum's going to be out, I mean, because look what they had out there. Cunningham, I think Cunningham's intriguing. Cunningham's kind of, a project quarterback. Like this used to be the time where you see like the Heineke's or the Joe Webbs or something like that. Like if Case Keenum's going to be out there, you probably make some money on this preseason. No doubt. For sure. Someone's saying Bill O'Brien looked fat. Unspoken Film said, will they keep 3 QBs? Yes, they have the new rule. So yes, they'll keep 3 QBs. They will have Case, they will have Davis, and they will have CJ Stroud. And CJ Stroud will be the starter. So there's no secret to that. They're going to want to see how he responds. But the most relevant takeaways are Tank, stud, potentially. Defense looks like it might have a little something. And I don't want to see CJ Stroud play behind Austin Deculus anymore. Just don't. Not a good thing at all. Apologies for the freaking technical stuff early on. Again, dealing with some technical issues, but I'll get to some thoughts and comments now as well. So if you have them, just get them in. We will interact there. Sometimes technology can be a mofo. It's always kind of funny how it happens, when you maybe need it the most. So get them in. I'll get to as many as I can. See how we're arguing about Tank Dell a little bit with the comparisons. But that's all good. That's all good. Earlier comments from the day. Lamont says the defense has potential. I concur. I agree about that. I agree with that. Patrick says he doesn't agree about Heinisch. He thinks he needs more looks. He's a beast. What does more looks mean? He plays quite a lot in the preseason. I don't know. Like, what do you mean more looks? You think he needs to? I just think he's on the bubble. You think he's a lock to make the squad? I don't think that that's the case at all. This is a pretty good. This is a pretty good D line. Someone says Robert Woods is 49ers Randy Moss. I don't know if I would go that far. I think that Robert Woods is the quality guy. He didn't even play today. Why are we bagging on Robert Woods? He didn't even play today. I don't understand that. Jacob, the Texan, the whole right side of the O-line was garbage. That is true. When is the Miami practice? It's next week. Juice didn't get his name called. That's a good thing. Well, I guess. Tyler Lockett, I think that's a good comp for Tank Dell. I actually think that's a really good comp. Tyler Lockett's good. I think that's actually the best comp that I've heard is Tyler Lockett, as opposed to the Deshaun Jackson, Edelman, all that. I think Tyler Lockett is a good comparison. Winovich looked all right. I mean, he ran into that sack. I still think Jacob Martin's safe. Winovich kind of a little bit of an uphill battle for him. I don't know that O-line depth is as much of a issue as many think. I do, I mean, if you're going to start Austin Deculus at right tackle, you might be in trouble. But I don't think that O-line depth is like some sort of major thing. New England coverage sucked. Yeah, Tank Dell has been known to make guys look bad, especially. Have you practiced your spin? No, I'm retired from the spin, especially today. With that, Talon asks or says CJ didn't do well. He had no Pierce Tunsil or Titus. He's also a rookie. Yeah, I mean, it happens. Sometimes you see guys do good in preseason, and then they don't end up getting the job done. Appreciate everyone for coming through. A little bit of a shorter post game today because of the technical stuff. I'm gonna get this straightened out. Got some stuff to take care of downstairs. Going to be on the show tomorrow. Also have a video tomorrow. We'll do a live stream tomorrow night as well. So get your comments in. Be sure to, when you leave, please like the video. It would be greatly appreciated. Subscribe, like, right along. Texans get the win. Tank Dell stud. CJ Stroud struggle. Defense good. And it's really about it. On to next week, on to the Miami joint practices. Appreciate everyone for coming through. When it comes to this Texan stuff, just remember, we are all in this together. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, it's Locker Room YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get Locker Room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we